Joining us now, Alan Dershowitz, Professor Emeritus, of course, of Harvard Law School, and his big bestseller, The Case Against Impeaching Trump. Make sure to get that. Professor, good to talk to you. Let's talk about any potential legal ramifications before we get into the other issues, but the legal ramifications for Ms. Manigault.
Sure, but first I just want to make one personal point. Laura, both you and I are children of great-grandchildren, great-grandchildren of immigrants. My family's from Poland, your family's from Ireland and Poland. And immigrants are great, and they make America great. Yeah, they're different. And I just don't agree with what you said the other day about immigrants. We can continue to argue about that, but I just... As a grandson of immigrants, I just wanted to make that point.
Okay, well, we're going to debate that, but Alan, if you actually watched my entire monologue, which I can't imagine you saying that, if you actually watched everything I said, which is what I said was, this is not about race, this is not about ethnicity, this is about respect for the rule of law and the love of the Constitution, or loyalty to our Constitution. That's what it's about. It's not about barring immigrants. In fact, so many times in the show, I say merit-based immigration is what we want. True cases of refugee and asylee conditions should be honored. I've said this repeatedly over the last 20 years. And you, better than anyone, given everything that's happened to you since you started saying no to impeachment of Trump, better than anyone should know what happens when you take one line from a monologue and you extrapolate it to what some people want to do, which is to stifle free speech in the United States. And I know you're not for that.
I agree with that. It was not only one line, it was just one word. The fact that you included legal immigrants as well as illegal immigrants is what I think made a number of people upset.
The point about that is chain migration. That's the chain migration point, which polls very poorly for the Democrats. When people say, should you bring in your second cousin twice removed, that polls at about 85%, I believe, last time that was polled. So I guess 85% of the country's racist then. So that's what I was talking about. And again, look,
President Trump's in-laws came in under chain migration.
I don't care who came in under that. I don't care. If you believe, Alan, that one refugee who comes into the United States should be able to sponsor, without any concern for merit, 16 or 17 relatives who are not adult children, who are not spouses, then okay. All right. Well, I don't believe in that, and not believing that is not a racially based point.
No, I never accused you of anything racist at all. What I'm suggesting is, in my case, 29 members of my family came in 1939, just before the Holocaust, as the result of having relatives in the country. One of them became the chairman of the engineering department of Columbia. Another one became a prominent rabbi. Immigration is the heart and soul of our country, and we just.
I think immigration is fantastic, done correctly, but we're not in the Industrial Revolution any longer. We've had flatlining wages for 20 years. And we have security and other terrorism-related issues, which, frankly, have rocked and devastated our country, many of which you and I agree on. So I completely agree with you, and salute to you and your family and so many families. But people equating the early days in the Industrial Revolution and the early part of this country with the year 2018, and our needs are all the same. Well, they're not. They're not all the same. We have a different country.
We have different needs, and we have different immigrants coming in, and they look different, and they sound different.
It's not about looking different. I don't care if they're white, brown, black. It doesn't matter to me. You come in here and you respect the rule of law, and it's a merit-based immigration or close family members. That's fantastic. America is built on freedom. It's not built on it. It's freedom is our ideal. That's it. Freedom.
Okay. If you would make that point, without emphasizing that immigrants make us look like a country that people don't love, it just harkens back to a time that neither of us approves of.
All right, Alan, I didn't invite you on to debate a line taken out of context. You know it, and I know it. I don't know if you want your bona fides, your liberal bona fides protected because you come on the show. It's come on.
I just made one point. That's all. You've continued the debate. I'm happy to talk about the other issues. I just wanted to make that point.
That's fine. And I respect your point of view. Let's talk about where we are with Omarosa and any issue with potential legal wrongdoing. I've read two different opinions on this. That number one, it was not cool to go into the Situation Room in a violation of White House rules, but that it was also not illegal, which is curious given a potential national security implication.
Well, you need a law, and that's what I've been saying right from the beginning in relation to Trump. You can't just say something should be illegal, and therefore it is illegal. What she did was clearly a violation. Look, I've been to the White House, as you have many times. We're always told, leave your cell phones outside. There's a box. You do it. Everybody knows that. Occasionally, by accident, somebody brings a cell phone in, but nobody records what's going on in the most important rooms of the White House. So clearly, it was a breach of White House rules. Illegal in Washington, D.C. It's a one-party consent state. That applies almost certainly to the White House. So unless someone can point me to a statute that makes it illegal, I don't think it's illegal. It should be illegal. It should be a crime to go into the special rooms in the White House, Oval Office, or other rooms and surreptitiously record. That would be sensible to make it a crime. But right now I don't see the criminal statute that would cover it.
She also made a point on Hardball, we don't have to play it, about impeachment. And her, in relation to your book and everything you argued in your book, she said, like, because she's a big legal scholar, I guess, Chris Matthews asked her, you think she should be impeached? She said, oh, definitely.
Yeah, no, of course. That shows her struggle. Look, she's angry, and B, she's trying as best she can to make as much money as she can. People say she turned down $1,500 or $15,000 a month. Well, that's nothing compared to what she will make on this book if she continues to make these allegations. Now, I think she has to put up or shut up about the tape. She's now said, not in the book, but she said after the book, she heard the tape itself. Well, she has a burden at this point to produce that tape, and if she can't produce that tape, I think we should assume the tape doesn't exist.
Do you think there's any issue with this idea of a non-disclosure agreement for White House officials either departing or I can't follow whether they wanted them to sign them on the way out the door or before they came in, and I guess the White House counsel advised against it because it's not enforceable. To me, it seems kind of like a cockamamie idea.
Yeah, I don't understand the argument of non-enforceability. Look, I'm against non-disclosure agreements with government officials. I took a case like that to the Supreme Court, the Frank Snepp case involving his book Decent Interville. He had signed a non-disclosure agreement with the CIA, and it wasn't about classified material. It was about non-classified material, and the courts upheld that non-disclosure agreement even though he was a government employee. So I don't understand why it's not enforceable. If you sign a contract, you sign away your First Amendment rights. You can do that. So I think it is enforceable. Yep. Is it a good idea? No, I don't think it's a good idea.
No, I agree. I agree with you. It's a silly idea, and silly idea to hire Omarosa in the first place. Alan Dershowitz, great to have you on as always. Of course, the case against impeaching Trump. Don't go